So today I'm going to be doing a book haul. I'm going to talk about books that I recently acquired through a book outlet order and also some recent Book of the Month Club selections. So stick around to see what they are. Well, hello friends, Roger here, and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So today I'm doing a book haul. I recently placed an order at the book outlet. Actually, I mentioned that in my last haul that I was waiting on an order to come. Well, it finally arrived. And I got, 8 books through that, I believe, and then plus a couple of books for the Book of the Month Club and one ARC. So the first book that I want to talk about is entitled A Queer History of the United States for Young People by Michael Bronski. So this is actually a review copy that I received. From what I understand, the book outlines the accomplishments of LGBT people through time, through narratives, letters, poems, stories, and drawings. It talks about a lot of interesting people, just as I just noticed thumbing through here. Rita Mae Brown, Judy Garland, Polly Murray, Walt Whitman. So the book supposedly demonstrates how LGBTQ people have always been a part of our national identity, contributing to our country and culture for 400 years. So this is kind of like the history that you don't get in high school. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I'm so glad that I was sent this. So the next 2 books I'm going to talk about are from my book outlet order, and the first book is entitled The Last Echo, and this is by Kimberly Durting. So I know that this follows a young woman who can sense the dead, and because of that, she uncovers murders and other secrets in her small town. But when she discovers a body of a college student in town who is the victim of a serial killer who's known as the Collector, she ends up on the serial killer's radar and as his next potential collection item. So, sounds good. Next up is The Color of Lies by C.J. Lyons. So this follows a young woman named Ella who is able to read people via the waves of colors that surround them. So given that she can always tell when somebody is lying, her gift has led her to trust very few people outside of her family since her parents died in a fire. So her senses go on high alert when a handsome journalist named Alec appears with no colors surrounding him at all. So she's like, what the hey? So to make matters even more interesting, he tells Ella that he believes that her parents' deaths were no accident and that she may be in even more danger than she's ever realized. So yes, color me intrigued. All right, the next book is The Chalk Man, and this is by C.J. Tudor. And actually, I first heard about this book on Kayla's channel, on her channel, Books and Lala. So this starts out in 1996 and follows Eddie and his friends who spend their days biking around town. And they have kind of a secret code in which are little chalk men that they draw, like little stick figures that they leave for each other as messages that only they can understand. But then a mysterious chalk man drawing leads the boys right to a dismembered body. So somebody has apparently cracked their code. So fast forward to 2016 when Eddie is now fully grown and he thinks he's put the past behind him. But then he and his friends get a letter in the mail containing a single chalk stick figure, and soon thereafter one of them ends up dead. So now they have to figure out the mystery before they are the next on the killer's list. And when Kayla talked about this book, she really gave it high praise, so I'm looking forward to it. Next book is Little Monsters by Kara Thomas. This follows Casey, who is a new girl in Broken Falls. And everybody is so nice in the town. She's even been welcomed into a tight circle of new friends, especially Bailey and Jade, the 2 main people in this circle. But then things get kind of strange when her friends start acting really distant and they don't end up inviting her to the biggest party of the year. As it turns out, Bailey never makes it home from that party. So suddenly Broken Falls doesn't seem quite so welcoming after all. especially once everyone starts looking toward the new girl for answers. And in the process, she learns trust no one. So another good sounding book. Next book from Book Outlet was entitled Hold Me Closer, Necromancer by Lish McBride. So this follows Sam, who leads a pretty normal life until he catches the attention of Douglas, a super creepy guy with a violent streak. So as it turns out, Douglas is a necromancer, someone who raises the dead for cash. And he sees potential in Sam because unbeknownst to Sam, Sam is also a necromancer, but with strangely latent powers. Now the blurb says, his worst nightmare wants to join forces or else. So I don't know if this worst nightmare is referring to Douglas or something else. Oh, and I also believe that there's a werewolf girl in this story as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. It sounds like a lot of fun. What do I have next? Next up, in the same vein, another book is entitled Reaper by Kyra Lee. So this follows 15-year-old Rosie Wolf, who always thought that when you died, you went to paradise or the other place. So in this story, she wakes up in a strange hospital bed and finds out that she's actually died in an accident. She learns, however, that paradise isn't all that easy to get to. So given the name of this title, I'm guessing that she becomes a reaper. So that's really all I know about the book, which is a good thing. So I'll have to read it to find out. And I actually love books about reapers. There was this TV show on a while back called Dead Like Me about a group of reapers, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, so looking forward to this. Next up is Here Lies Daniel Tate by Kristen Terrell. So this follows Daniel Tate, who was abducted at the age of 10 and is still missing. So he turns up in Vancouver 6 years later. So though he's initially too traumatized to speak, he's eventually able to tell the authorities who he is and is thus reunited with his overjoyed family. He has no memories of the past 6 years, though people reassure him that he'll get his memories back in time. Of course, he really won't, because the boy is not Daniel Tate at all, but rather he's a young con artist who's been taking on false identities for years. So he believes that he's stumbled onto the perfect scam, the scam of a lifetime, posing as the missing son of a wealthy and privileged family. But it's not going to be all smooth sailing for our trickster, as he begins to suspect that maybe Daniel isn't missing at all. And maybe someone knows what really happened to the boy that he's pretending to be. And he just may be the next Daniel Tate to disappear. So yeah, sounds intriguing, no? So the next book is entitled Here to Stay by Sara Friesen. So this follows a Middle Eastern boy named Bijan Mariji, who gets pulled off the bench and ends up making the winning basket in his high school varsity's playoff game. So suddenly he's popular and in demand, until an anonymous photo sent by a school cyberbully makes Bijan look like a terrorist. So then lots of classmates rally around him, while others make it clear that they don't want him or anybody that looks like him at their school. So it's obvious there's a lot of Islamophobia going on here. And as Bijan learns, it's not always easy to tell your enemies from your friends. So this book has actually been on my radar for quite a while, so I was really happy when it caught my attention on Book Outlet, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So the next two books are actually Book of the Month Club selections, and the first one is entitled Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So this follows a young woman named Jules who gets a job as an apartment sitter at the Bartholomew, one of Manhattan's most high-profile and mysterious buildings. So she ends up befriending another apartment sitter named Ingrid, who strangely enough reminds Jules of her sister who she lost 8 years ago. Now, when Ingrid warns Jules that the Bartholomew isn't what it appears to be, that there's a somewhat dark history lurking underneath, Jules brushes it off as a harmless ghost story, figuring that Ingrid is just trying to scare her. until Ingrid disappears the next day. So Jules begins digging and searching for the truth about Ingrid's disappearance, and in the process, she discovers that the building does indeed have dark secrets along with a dark past, and that she soon learns Ingrid is not the first apartment sitter to go missing. So I'm guessing murder here, perhaps? So our character has to figure out what is going on with the enigmatic Bartholomew before she ends up being its next victim. And I just got this month, so I hope to get to this relatively soon. And the last book that snuck its way into my house was a book entitled Gods of Jade and Sorrow by Sylvia Moreno-Garcia. So this is kind of a Mexican folklore-inspired fairy tale and follows a young woman named Cassiopeia Toon, who finds a curious wooden box in her grandfather's room. So when she opens it, she inadvertently frees the spirit of the Mayan god of death, who then requests her help in recovering his throne from his treacherous brother. So Cassiopeia ends up on this harrowing journey where failure could mean the end of her, but success could make all her dreams come true. And that is all that I know about this book, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. And actually, I had it already on my wish list before it was offered by the Book of the Month Club selection, so needless to say, I snatched this right up. So that is my recent haul. And that is it for this video. So as usual, if you like this video, I really appreciate if you click the like button below, as it really helps my channel out. And that about does it. I will talk to you in the next video. Roger and out.